Bit of background of what a live meeting is. Now, a live meeting is this experience we're now experiencing now. So it's like the video call, it's literally this interface, but it's either branded with, Women's Aid branding on the top and the bottom, or it's branded to people's fundraising experience. So this can be used for many, many different use cases. Okay. So the one type of use case it can be used for is as a replacement or an enhancement to your traditional fundraising type of event. So if I walk up a mountain or do a marathon run or do a cake bake, traditionally what happens is somebody would set up a fundraiser, just say it was a cake bake. They'll go off and bake the cake, bring the cake, and people would give them money. Or if they're walking up Ben Nevis, somebody would set up their fundraiser. They would socialize their fundraising page amongst their family, friends, work colleagues. People would make a donation, and maybe you would see that person a week later or something, and hear the photos of me walking up the mountain. Okay, so in that context, what a live meeting allows you to do is bring the fundraising a lot closer to the fundraising experience. So as a live meeting is this video experience we're experiencing now, you somebody who's walking up Ben Nevis could set up a page, and they need to plan where they're going to be at a certain time, because live meetings happen at a particular time, just like this meeting is happening from 10 to 11. So they'll set up their live meeting page and they'll say, come and join me while I walk up the mountain. Okay, so just say they set it for 1 o'clock. And then as the person's walking up Ben Nevis, they get on their phone, they sign into their People's Fundraising live meeting page, and everyone else who's bought tickets to that live meeting can then interact with that person as they're walking up the mountain. Okay, so as opposed to quite a hands-off fundraising approach, I'm walking up Ben Nevis, donate to me, and I may send you some pictures afterwards. As I'm actually walking up Ben Nevis, I can speak to and chat and show the people, show my supporters what's happening as I'm actually walking up Ben Nevis. So another really interesting use case is when it comes to events. Okay, so particularly physical events as well. So, if you're a charity, good cause, and just say you're running a black tie event, okay, and there's only a specific capacity, okay, so you either sell out of tickets and therefore there's no more capacity in that event, or there are people who want to turn up to the event but they can't for any number of reasons. It could be accessibility reasons. Then what you can do is, alongside selling tickets for the physical event where people can turn up, you can also live stream it with a live meeting. And in actual fact, you can have a couple, as many different live feeds of that physical event as you want. Okay. Now, there's also like a third use case, and that's in terms of. So I was chatting to Rotary clubs about this use case, and that's where, for example, you have an evening with. So if there's like a subject matter expert that could be an author, could be a CEO and whatnot, or it could even be just delivering training, you could then set up a live meeting where people obviously buy their tickets to have an hour with Women's Aid CEO, or if like an influencer or author, it could be spend half an hour with the influencer with a live meeting. So there are many different use cases that can be applied to live meetings. Okay, so let's set up a live meeting. Now, in order to set up a live meeting, go to your People's Fundraising control panel, scroll down to the bottom, and there is a live meetings tab. Click on that, and then you would open up the sub menu. Click step 1 of 2, create a live meeting. Now, with all of our pages, you enter a page name and a page description. So let's do a poetry half hour. I hope I've spelled that correctly.
You have.
Oh, good. Now, on all of the pages, you can display the total that's generated on the page and also the total number of people who have purchased. Okay, so you can display the share button on the page, and also each page has got its own page website address. So this is on the test platform, but if it was on People's Fundraising, it'll be www.peoplesfundraising.com/live meeting and then something. If it's your own branded platform, it'll be fundraising.woman's aid NEL, for example. Okay, so this is where you need to start thinking more concretely about the live meeting itself. So every live meeting has a start date and end date, okay, but it's to the second. Okay. Now, the reason why this is important is there is a cost per minute. So just say we were going to run a live meeting on the 1st at 10 o'clock. We'll just do 00. And it was going to be half an hour. So first 10 o'clock, 30 and 00. Yeah, you want to be really exact when it comes to setting live meeting dates. Okay. Now, what the system will do, it will calculate what the base cost of a ticket will be given your duration. So it says here, the duration of the meeting is 30 minutes. The meeting charge is 30p, so that's 1p per second. So and what the system does, it multiplies that by 3 just to be safe. So the cost of each ticket should be at least 90p. Okay. So depending on what content you're presenting, if it's a very famous poet, for example, you could have like £500 here, or it could be really anything you want. You really decide what that cost is. But in the context of training, for example, it could literally be, in this case, like £1. Okay, so let's just put £10 here. And then you specify the number of tickets that you want to sell. So again, the maximum or the maximum number of participants, I believe, is 400, or 200 with these little video boxes. So let's just say 100. And then the minimum number of tickets and the maximum number of tickets that I can purchase in any one time. Okay. Now, you can also record the live meeting as well, and whereby charge 2p per minute for that. So you can add that or not. Now, for example, if you're giving training, you may want to record that and then you can monetize that training further down the line, or even not monetize it. You can just take that training recording and then it is a library of your training that you always have. Or if it's a poetry presentation, again, you can monetize that. You can edit the highlights and you can just sell it on and whatnot. But you don't need to have recording on. Now, you've also got sales start and end dates. So this is when tickets are available to be purchased. And this is where it becomes really interesting. You've got your different live meeting options. Okay. So we've got two useful buttons here. If you click here, it will set the settings so the presentation is the most interactive. If you click this one, it will set it up so the presentation is the least interactive, and then you can do anything in between. So you can enable audio for participants or not. So you could literally have a meeting whereby you're presenting and your participants, you can't hear them at all. Okay, so you can enable audio, you can enable their cameras or not, you can enable chat or not, you can enable screen share, enable participant count, enable breakout rooms, and also enable the people list or not. Okay, so they all provide a slightly different presentation experience. Okay, and then we allow you, well, you put in your promoter details. There's no legal requirement for promoter details. We just thought it was quite a nice quite a nice thing. You add your promoter details when you set up like lotteries and raffles, and so people actually find that to be quite a nice feature. Okay, so that's the basic setup of live meeting. Now there's lots of modifiers we can do or apply to that. So if you go to the top of the page, you can change the theme of your live meeting. You can add as many different images as you like to the purchase page. You can link your social media hooks to the purchase page. And you can embed documents in the purchase page, for example. So, for example, if this was training, you could embed a PDF document and it will tell you about, you could actually give you the training material, but it could actually tell you what the agenda for that live meeting was. That's quite a nice use case of that. And you can also do things like turn off page visibility. So if you didn't want the live meeting purchase page to appear on your wall or on search results or on campaign walls, you could essentially turn that off. Okay. And you can also even ask for age verification. So now we've also got the page optionals as well. So if you link a donation page, this will do two things. This will ask somebody if they want to make a donation when they're buying the live meeting page. A live meeting ticket. But also, when the live meeting page is being displayed, the donation page link will be at the bottom of the page, so they can make an in live meeting donation. You can also link it to a tombola, and so when people purchase tickets, they can be automatically entered into a tombola. And you can also link it to memberships as well. Service user membership, for example, and you've vetted who the service users are, then you could, so here would be listed all of the memberships that you've set up. And then you could say, we want to restrict this live meeting to only service users. So you would select the membership category here. And then when the person goes to purchase the live meeting ticket, they would have had to have had that membership category purchased in the past, which essentially means that live meetings are restricted just to that membership category, which in your case can be service users. So they can be very private live meetings. Okay, so let's come back to finalizing the live meeting page. We've undertaken the basic setup, and then we press create at the bottom. And this is where we assign our campaign. So assigning campaign essentially means linking the page to the charity or good cause where we want the money to go. So then I press continue. And that's the basics of setting up a live meeting page. Now, if you look at the view, update or delete live meeting page, can you see here you've got the host URL? And so this is the URL that you would give to the host. Okay, and so when they're ready, they'll just click on this link or access this, and then the video console will appear for them. Okay, now what about your supporters? Your supporters now have a page where they can buy tickets. Again, you can put in images, YouTube videos, all sorts of content here, but it says how much has been raised and by how many supporters. You can turn this off. It says when it is, you can add it to your calendar, how much per ticket, and now I can just buy tickets. I can pay with Google Pay, Apple Pay, or debit credit card. If I put in debit credit card, I select how many tickets I want to buy. I put in my details. All of these questions can be turned off and on it if you want. And I essentially press pay. The system, what will happen with the system then, it will send you an email with all the links that you've purchased. And then when it's time, I can click on those links and I'll go to the live meeting experience. Go to this, what would happen? Because it's a test system, it may not work. Okay, so can you see what's happening? It's wrapped with people's fundraising.
Yeah.
Yeah. You enter your name.
Yeah.
Right. You press continue. You say, what you want to allow. And then you are in. So this is you as the host who's in. And then you're just waiting for participants to join.